Hello everyone, you're on Realme24.com channel and today we will be disassembling Realme C35. First of all, as usual, we need to remove the SIM card tray. For this we use a special eject tool, push the tray out and set it aside. Next, we need to heat the surface of the back cover to a temperature of approximately 70 degrees Celsius or about 160 degrees Fahrenheit. We're using a heating mat for this, but you can also use a hair dryer. And after about 7 to 10 minutes, we can proceed with removing the back cover. To separate the back cover, we use a thin plastic film. Carefully insert it into the gap between the back cover and the mid frame and run it along the edge, cutting through the adhesive layer. As always, be careful around the fingerprint sensor area, since there may be a flex cable located there. Also be careful around the camera area, so you don't accidentally touch or damage the lenses. It is also best not to bend the back cover too much to avoid deforming or damaging it. And as we can see, the back cover is additionally glued around the camera area. So we can now open the back cover. As you can see, there are no components attached to the back cover. After that, it is best to cover the camera lenses. For this we use a special protective film. Please note that we apply the film not directly onto the lenses themselves, but onto the rim around them. Next we proceed to remove the screws. To remove the screws, we use a 1.5 mm Phillips screwdriver or a Phillips #30. It is best to place the screws on a special surface in a specific order, since screws sometimes do not sit properly if installed into the wrong holes. Also, if the screws are difficult to pick up, we can use tweezers to remove them. After removing the screws, we detach the mid-frame. For this, we also use a thin plastic film inserted into the gap between the mid-frame and the display frame in the area near the SIM tray opening. After releasing several clips, we can switch to a thicker tool. As always, the cover is firmly secured around the edges. Be careful not to accidentally damage the edge of the display. And do not apply pressure to the lower part. And of course, be careful when detaching the cover, since the fingerprint sensor is mounted on the mid-frame and its flex cable runs to the motherboard. So we carefully leave the mid-frame, flip it over and use a non-metal tool to disconnect the battery connector. Then we disconnect the fingerprint sensor connector and set the mid-frame aside with its contact pads and antenna traces. After that, we move to the lower section. In the lower section, we first detach the loudspeaker assembly cover and set it aside. Then we disconnect the interconnect flex cable connector. Disconnect the coaxial cable connector and free the cable itself from the clips on the subboard. Now we can remove the subboard. The subboard contains the charging port, microphone, headset jack port and other components on the reverse side. And our traditional quick test of the microphone opening. The microphone opening is protected by a special mesh and has an L shape. The microphone itself is located on the reverse side of the subboard, opposite the microphone opening. If we insert anything into the microphone hole, we will definitely damage the mesh, but we will not damage the microphone itself. The vibration motor remains in the display frame. Now we move on to the motherboard. First we can disconnect the cameras. Please note the cameras are slightly glued in place. The connectors are secured and the modules are adhered at the base. Carefully pry them up and detach the cameras. And do not use excessive force to avoid damaging the flex cables. Now we disconnect the last rear camera, which is glued by its base to the shield on the motherboard. After that, we can disconnect the front camera. It is best to preserve the heat dissipating foil for assembly. And of course, it is best to cover the camera lens to prevent dust or debris from getting onto it. Next, we disconnect the interconnect flex cable connector and the display flex cable connector. We also need to disconnect the coaxial cable connector and free the cable from the clips. And we can remove the motherboard. Carefully pry it up at the correct point. It is not always easy to find the right spot. Remove it and flip it over. As you can see, on the reverse side the motherboard may be held in place by thermal paste. Finally, we proceed to disconnect the battery. We need to peel back the transparent protective layer and pull up the green pull tab. The transparent film should be folded back as much as possible so it doesn't interfere, and the green tab should be pulled upward. So we remove the battery. Under the battery there is a transparent protective film that protects the interconnect flex cables. And that completes our disassembly. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in our next videos. Okay guys, now we're done. Thank you for watching. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, read our articles on our website. Take care of yourself, and until next video.